Movie Making with Renelle Golden is brought to you by Samira Entertainment, supporting indie films and the filmmakers who create them. Stop by their website to learn more, www.samiraentertainment.com. That's www.samiraentertainment.com. Hello, everybody. Today we're here with Matthew Paris. He is actor, writer, and director. How are you doing today, Matthew?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. It's going to be fun.
I'm glad to have you here. I hear you hail from the hot and burning Houston, Texas right now.
I am. I'm sitting here. I'm in Houston. It's very hot here. I know we're under a heat advisory, and but you know what? I'm a runner too, so I need my workout. So I go out and run a little bit. Probably I do it usually early in the morning.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Before the sun's up, do you go, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, I usually do it early in the morning. So yeah, right. So before it gets really hot, sometimes I'll do it pretty much at night. I'll just run around the neighborhood a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy this year. I don't know why, but hey, we're still getting out there. We do what we got to do. So
absolutely.
So filmmaking, how did you get started? Did you start as an actor? Is this a childhood passion, or did you fall into it? What's your backstory?
I would say it's a childhood passion I've had. So growing up in Houston, I was born and raised in Houston, and I always liked going to see movies. It was a huge passion of mine. I was sort of a film buff. I knew a lot about movies. I can recall lines from movies. I can recall scenes in detail, very, very good detail when I was a kid, to the point where I would have friends come up to me and be like, okay, what's good out this weekend, or what's good out, right now.
You're the movie critic, or not really a critic, but the go-to guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you still do that today?
I do. I still go see a lot of movies. I don't go to the movie theater as much anymore. I mean, a lot of things are on streaming now. Right.
So, but you stay up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I mean, I was very much a kid in the 90s. So I would go see movies a lot, especially 90s movies. I mean, I grew up in that era, so it was great.
Yeah.
Movies like Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction and Independence Day and other blockbusters like that.
Yeah, but some of those are really, truly classics now too. They're timeless. They're going to be with us forever. So when did you get into acting? How did that come about?
So I grew up a sports kid. I was never really like a theater or an arts kid too much. I grew up as a sports guy and played sports. And then I probably got into acting probably pretty seriously from around college time. I graduated from high school, went to Texas Tech University, and got into theater a little bit there and English literature a little bit there, and did some plays, and everybody in that department was great. Got a degree in a Bachelor of Arts degree, class of 2006. And then after that, I got a job in Los Angeles for Universal as a show crew for Waterworld.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I pretty much, my job was pretty much loading pyrotechnics and setting everything up.
It's still really cool. That was a big thing there. So when you went to college, did you know you were going to end up acting, or it just sort of happened?
It just sort of happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested in it. I was a little bit interested in it, so I kind of pursued it a little bit, but I really pretty much fell into it. I auditioned for theater plays, got into a few parts, and then, didn't make the cut on a few others. But I think the real first one where I had my real first taste of a big production or a big Hollywood production was I did some background work for The Alamo with Billy Bob Thornton and Dennis Quaid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first real big one. So I remember hearing about a casting call for it in Austin, and they were shooting in Dripping Springs, and because they had built a set out there. They got a lot of land out there, so they built the Alamo set in the town out there.
Oh, wow.
And I heard about the casting call, I think I did my midterms at Texas Tech, flew down to Austin and met with these guys and went to the casting call. And that was like the first round of casting call where everybody comes in. They just kind of look at you and talk to you.
Kind of like a cattle call at the time.
Pretty much. Yeah. Wow. So I did that, went back to Lubbock, went back to school, did everything there. And then I got a call right out of the blue and say, hey, can you come back to Austin? We'd like to meet you again. And I said, sure, why not? So nice. Actually saved up money, flew back to Austin, and went and met with them. And I think this was like during around the time of finals. So I think I took one final real quick. I think it was my psychology final. Went to Austin.
That's one to hurry through, right?
Yeah. Went to Austin and met with the AD and a couple other people. And it was me and there was like 4 other guys in the room. And they just talked to us about, can you be here? You know, and they originally wanted me as one of the defenders of the Alamo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they were like, okay, you're going to have to grow out your facial hair a little bit. You're going to have to grow out your hair a little bit. I said, I have no problem with that. So,
yeah. What a great film to get your start on or get your feet wet with. I love that.
Absolutely. So, but it was fun. Like the training part of it was intense and it was fun. They had a bunch of us out there. We were on this guy's ranch in Wimberley, and this was during Christmas time. So it was kind of cold out there, and we got out there really, really early.
Yeah.
And wow. I got to fire a cannon, which was pretty cool. We got to learn how to march during that time, during the 1800s time. I had a musket. I got to know how to reload a musket, how to put the gunpowder in, stuff like that.
Oh, that's so neat. I love it.
It was fun. It was a good time. Yeah.
Wow. How long does training take for something epic like that? Were you training for weeks or?
No, that took about 3 days. It was 3 intense days. Yeah, it was 3 intense days, and they fed us breakfast, and they had the tent set up and everything. And it's weird because after I did it, I thought, okay, well, that's going to be my part. And they were like, well, you're going to have to devote time to this, so you might have to skip a semester. And I said, I have no problem with that. So, well, I told them I had no problem with that at first. So, of course, I had to convince my parents that. But
Mom, Dad.
Yeah.
They're saying no before you even finish your sentence. No.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
So, but here's the thing. It all worked out. They called me back, and I knew they were already in the shooting. And I kind of thought, okay, well, I didn't get it. And but no, they said no, because I knew they were like maybe a week into shooting, 2 weeks into shooting, and I was back in school. So they called me and they said, well, we're going to have you now as like one of the rich politician guys, and you're going to only be here for about a week. And I said, okay, that's fine.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. So, got the fun of doing all the stunt action training. So you got the best of both worlds in a way.
I did. I lived to it. So I'm in the scene with Billy Bob and Dennis Quaid, and they're talking about the Republic of Texas. I'm in the ballroom scene. Yeah. I'm in the theater scene where Billy Bob, Davy Crockett comes in. He's watching the play, and you can see a shot of me cheering as they're introducing him coming in. And it was a really first experience of a big production, of a big Hollywood production. So that was a good time.
Wow. So fast forward, you write your first film. I think it was called Crisis. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to that. You write that and you're making this first film that's your baby. How did that come about?
So I had done some crew work too. At that time, I had just done another short film called The Good Samaritan for My Productions and Marion Yeager in Austin. Oh. And at this time, I was living in Austin. I had graduated college, been out of college for a few years now. And I had written this script where I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do a movie where it's kind of an intense movie, but I think it'll be kind of an important film or, kind of a message film where I think you think. Exactly. Yeah. So Crisis is kind of a dark movie. It deals with suicide a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But I kind of thought how I came up with the idea was I'm like, what if you have a guy who's in his early 30s and he can't get a job and nothing's working out for him and he can't get a girlfriend or anything like that. And he's really down on his luck and he's struggling. And he's thinking about committing suicide, but there's something that happens. He needs to talk to somebody, and that's the biggest thing. And he feels like he has nobody to talk to. His friends kind of razzle him a little bit, saying, hey, you got to stop moping around and kind of, you need to get yourself a job. So it kind of started from there. And then I kind of thought, okay, well, who can he talk to if his friends are kind of razzling him? He can't talk to his parents either because his parents kind of do the same thing, kind of tell him to get a job.
People so just aren't listening.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to think for a minute. I'm like, okay, who can the person he could talk to? The idea was he could talk to a stranger, but who would the stranger be? I mean, there would have to be some sort of reason where he would go up to her and talk to her. But so I was driving home one night, late at night. I was working at the ballpark because I had coached too. And then I drove back to Houston for some reason late at night, but this was like late at night. This was like around 12:31 in the morning. And I was listening to the radio, and I was listening to Delilah. Do you know about Delilah?
She's like a talk show host. Is she the one that started on Health Matters?
Yes.
Medical health. I think I knew her way back when she was an OBGYN when she started.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I do know her. And at one point I knew her personally. Yes.
Really?
Great show. Yes.
Yeah. I always have fun. She's like the Dr. Phil of radio.
Yeah. She got really big.
She did. So I was driving home late at night one time. I was on the 79 highway in the middle of all these ranches and open fields, and there's nobody on there in the middle of just complete darkness, just driving down the road going to Houston. And I was listening to her, and she had this person on who was talking about, certain problems, and she was talking to him through it and stuff like that. And then they had another person on, and she was I said, that's it. That's who he calls. He calls into his favorite radio station. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
that's really interesting. How did that film do? Did it do well?
It did very well. We won the Platinum Remi Award at Worldfest-Houston. We shot it in Austin. We shot it at it's through Look Now Productions, who was Carlos Zamudio, his production company, who I believe moved to Georgia now.
Everybody is.
Yeah. And we shot it in and around Austin. We had a couple locations. We did get a sound studio where we shot there for the radio stuff, for the radio DJ stuff. And then we shot at this, we shot in the parking lot because there was a scene in the parking lot. And then we shot, very, very limited locations. And then we shot at there's a funny story about this. We tried to get everything done in the parking lot in the sound studio, but the guy needed to close up shop. And
been there. Hurry up.
Pretty much. So, I went over and talked to him for a minute, and, I said, just give us like 10 more minutes and then we'll be out here, and he said, okay. And I could tell he was getting frustrated. So he gave us 10 more minutes, but we still had stuff to do, and we got out of there. So we basically went to this middle school. It was like guerrilla style filmmaking. We went to this middle school and we shot in that parking lot, but we did everything in close-ups.
Oh, right. Kind of on the sly, huh? That makes sense. Been there. Oh, yeah. It's always fun when someone says, hey, you can come in and film, and then you're thinking you have time, and suddenly you're like, well, when are you leaving?
Yeah.
And you're like, I said all day. I meant all day.
Exactly. I'm like, this is a standard 10-hour day. This is standard practice, filmmaking.
Yeah,
practice.
At least to us, right? But for some reason, when you say all day, they're thinking you'll be there an hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that has never changed in the 15 years I've been making movies. It's like, hello. It's too funny. So what's the most recent film that you've worked on? The
most recent? As far as writing goes,
writing, producing, directing. Is it The Last Catch or?
The Last Catch I did years ago. I did that about 7 years ago, but it's sort of started making a comeback.
Oh, that's
I just
cool.
I know. It's weird. Some of these never really go away. But
I love that.
Yeah. So I had just won the Best Director Award at the Calcutta International Film Festival.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
For The Last Catch. Yeah. So Crisis was a writing. I wrote it. I didn't direct it, though. Gray Ellis directed it, and I helped produce it. With The Last Catch, I did write and help produce it. One of the co-producers on it, and I did direct that one. That was my first thing I directed.
Now, do you act in them in your own films when you're creating them, or do you stay behind the lens?
I like to stay behind the lens, but sometimes I get pushed into acting.
Yeah. Well, somebody might not show up. Who better, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Like if you had to choose acting or, writing, directing, do you have a preference?
I like writing. I like writing quite a bit.
Yeah, I love writing. And you can be everybody in the film when you write it.
You can. When it comes out in your imagination, you can really be every character in the film. You can. What are you working on now? Or go ahead, tell me. I'm sorry. So it depends on the project, really. If it's an acting thing, and they want me to come in, I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll do that for a little while. It depends on the story and the project and the character of that. Yeah. I've been on Walker. I was on the reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger. Oh, that's very cool. That filmed near Austin, didn't it? Down in, I'm thinking of Spiderwood Studios area. It filmed some there, I think. I think they did. I wasn't a part of that, though. I worked on 3 episodes of season 1. I basically worked on all of season 2, and I worked on 1 episode of season 3.
Nice. So, is it still going? I haven't gotten to watch the new version yet.
The new version, it's with Jared Padalecki from Supernatural.
I
really
love
good guy.
him.
Yeah, really good guy.
And I'm not watching that. I love him. My daughter and I used to joke, whose boyfriend would he be? But of course, she was like 10 or 12 or something at the time when he was on Supernatural. So, that's funny. Oh, cool. So I hope it's still going. I want to watch it now.
Yeah, it is. It's still going. They just got renewed for a 4th season. Nice. I still have a lot of buddies who are crew members on there and who are actors on there and stuff like that.
Have they stayed in Texas?
They have. Yeah. That's surprising because of the whole incentives things. But yeah,
I heard you guys have new incentives coming out in September. It'll get renewed.
Yes, I hope so. So we get some TV shows in the state of Texas, and some filming here and big productions, hopefully. Of course, that depends on the writers and actor strike that's going on right now. So.
That's true. That's impacting everybody, and even people that are non-union. I'm finding as I speak to people, it's a big thing. And then, of course, the actors, they can't even be guests at this time. The union actors, a lot of them can't. That were going to talk to me, they can't. And I get it. It's such a big issue right now. I had no idea until I started, learning and talking to people about this AI, one of the big underlying issues. And that's sort of scary that you only work one day, only get paid for one day. They take your image and you're in the entire film or, series through AI, and you never see any more money other than your day rate. I was like, you what? I had no idea.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's very scary. I've had emails come to me where they're like, oh, if you have an idea and you want to pitch an idea, just send it through our AI, and that's all you have to do. And the AI will write out the script. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I've met even people this year that are telling me they're using AI for a lot of their written stuff. And first and foremost, besides a filmmaker, I'm a writer. That's what I do. And I'm like, you what?
Yeah.
I can't pay my rent with that.
Yeah. And then who gets the money? If I pitch an idea and they want to pay me for it, who gets that,
Yeah. Or does anyone, right? Take your idea and modify it. Or I don't know. It's scary. It's a scary world. I hope that they work it out sooner than later. And, that it sets up our standards for years to come. But I can see this rocking the boat again, and who knows how soon. And just because I think that's part of the writers' issues, too, for their strike. It has to do with this as well. So writers and actors. And I don't know at what point in time, if producers or any of the other guilds will jump in, but it has to be done. It's, one of those ugly, what do you call that? When something's sort of... it's a necessary evil in the sense that they have to strike and it's going to hurt them. But
something about you have to have change or something like that.
Yeah, it's you have to do it. And, I'm researching, I'm learning, I'm trying to understand why, because I had no idea all this was looming until the writers went on strike. But us, as indie filmmakers, we still have to figure out how to keep going. And, I've been talking to a lot of attorneys and line producers and people like that. And it's very interesting, learning everybody's journey and what they're going through and how they're looking at this particular topic now. And I don't usually even need to bring it up. It just comes up.
Yeah. It's scary. I know a lot of people in Hollywood don't like it either, though, too. I mean, Jim Cameron said he does not like the idea of it. He goes, I tried warning you guys in 1984, which he meant as a joke with the Terminator.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
So,
it wasn't even Total Recall in that one movie, just the telling of the movie because of AI, that character, in the future could become anybody. You just look at them, but they have this ability to morph through something computer related. It's been so long since I saw the movie, but that's what I started thinking about when I started hearing all these things. Yeah. It's like, wow, this stuff is going on. It is going to happen. It has to happen. But what are you doing right now? Are you working on anything?
I always have something in the works, always, whether I be writing or something like that. But I just got done doing a music video this past weekend. We shot here in Houston.
Were you acting in it?
I was, yeah.
Oh, how fun. So was it story based or were you dancing?
It was story based. A lot of people thought I was dancing though. I said, no, I'm not dancing.
You're like, say what? I love it. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but it was interesting because I got referred to it from a friend of mine who I worked with before. She's an actress in Austin, and she went to him and she was like, yeah, you got to work with Matt. He's pretty cool and he's pretty down to earth. So I appreciate that from her. So the casting director just got a hold of me one day and he said, would you be interested in doing this? I said, sure. Yeah. Why not? But the thing is, he didn't tell me the whole thing. He was like, it's a music video, but it's in the Old West. Do you have like any Old West, like 1830s?
Oh, I love it.
Clothes? And I was like, no, I'm like, buddy, I live in modern times. I have like regular clothes. So.
My Old West is now.
Yeah. I was like, I got boots and jeans and button down shirts and everything.
Oh, that's true. You're in Texas. I mean, those were around even in the Old West, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking dust and those big balls when we lived in New Mexico that would like roll across the landscape, and they were full of like these stickers. I don't even know what they're called. And you would watch them. That's what I think of.
Yeah, tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they hurt if you touch them. Yeah. That's the Old West to me. Yeah.
We had some of those. In Lubbock. I remember walking back from class a couple times from Texas Tech and there'd be a tumbleweed by the car.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's really funny because when we were living out in New Mexico, we lived in Albuquerque for a couple of years.
Okay.
Eons ago. But you'd be driving on those roads out with the middle of nowhere and you'd see like these tornadoes made of dust. And I'm like, what is that? And I was in Texas in January for a production meeting. And sure enough, like the road, there were these warning signs and across the road goes like this dust storm I had never seen. And it's so interesting because one side of Texas is like where we were is like lush and green. And then we went to hill country and it's beautiful and it's cold. But then you've got like these desert roads for lack of, I don't know what y'all call them, but it was crazy.
That's in West Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool state. It's very interesting geographically. So what kind of advice would you share with anybody that wants to enter the film industry as a writer or an actor? What would you tell them?
I would say the best advice is just to kind of practice your craft and keep doing it. That would probably be the number one advice. Learn the craft. There's different forms of writing as the basics of, if you're writing a novel, it's basic prose and whatnot. And they teach you that in school and stuff like that. But writing a screenplay is totally different. Writing a TV pilot is totally different. Screenplay writing is pretty much told in dialogue.
Yeah, I love screenplay writing.
Yeah. Whereas you can't be too detailed with it because if you have descriptive passages of a character walking through the door or, he's in his mind, or if you have descriptive passages of the rain falling outside.
You're wasting your time, right?
Yeah. Or you come time to shoot that, it's going to be a problem because, you need rain machines and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I would say the biggest thing is learn the craft, keep practicing the craft. Look up online for like different production companies and stuff like that. Now, for major Hollywood production companies, they're not going to see the script unless you have a lawyer or an agent. I mean, that's just kind of how it is,
Yeah, that's the hard part. It is.
Yeah. But for independent production companies, if you have an independent producer who really wants to do it, they will take a look at the script. They'll probably have you sign a release form first, but they will have you look at it. Make sure it's well written. Make sure that first draft is polished. If you're lucky enough to get a producer who's interested in it, he's going to have notes or she's going to have notes. And so just be ready for that because it'll be like maybe a year or 6 months of just rewriting the thing, Yeah,
it's so true. What about for actors?
Yeah, I would say for actors, take classes. And I know a couple of agents around the Texas area who's not going to take you on unless you're taking a class,
Oh, interesting.
So, it's very interesting. They'll, because they're trying to get you to be booked. And in order to do that, they know that you have to practice your craft. So
you do. You really do. Yeah. So how can people find you, Matthew?
You can find me on Facebook. You can Google me, look me up online. You can Google The Last Catch short film. My name will come up. It'll show you everything I've done. I did Crisis. I did The Eyes on Me. That was the last thing I had written and helped produce. We had another director come and do that, though. That's another dark one. And
well, you got to tell it somewhere. I always tell people that I put all my darkness in my writing so I can live in the light.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Because people are like, "Why do you write these things?" And I'm like, "I need to."
Right.
But go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. The darkness issue thing. It's also writers have to be observers of life. And sometimes there's a lot of bad things in life that you can hear about or maybe witness.
Yeah, there's pain.
There is pain. Yeah.
There's also joy, though. So, by telling the pain, sometimes you can actually tell the joy, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of joyful things. So.
Yeah.
It's like what Matthew McConaughey said one time. He said, look, you have the good wolf inside you have the bad wolf inside of you, and they both want to eat. The thing is, you have to feed the good wolf just a little bit more.
Oh my God, I love that. That is true. That is so, so true. So I have had so much fun talking to you today. Is there anything you want to share before we kind of move on to our 5 for 5 and I ask you some goofy questions?
Absolutely. I want to touch briefly upon the marketing of a movie, because I don't think a lot of independent producers and stuff know about that. Is it okay if I talk about that for a minute?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So with Crisis and with The Last Catch, I sold those two. I sold it to the ShortsHD Network, and they were on DirecTV and AT&T U-Verse. They were playing in the United States, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So over several continents.
Oh, wow.
So I get a lot of questions of, well, how'd you do it and how'd you market that and stuff like that. And my basic advice is that, of course, when you shoot a movie, no matter if it's a short or a feature or a television series, especially independent filmmakers, they all want to go to the top film festivals, which is Cannes and Sundance.
Right.
So they all want to go there. And my advice is, I'm like, don't always choose those, because what happens if you get, everybody wants to go there. What happens if you get rejected? And usually sometimes, depending upon how the person is, sometimes people get upset when they get rejected. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So my advice is to go to the smaller film festivals, kind of like what I did with Crisis and The Last Catch. Go to Worldfest-Houston, go to a film festival that you might have the best shot at winning an award.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah. Because, if these guys look at the movie, they're going to judge it on production value and the characters. And if they see that you won an award, it will kind of spark their interest a little bit. And it won't matter if you won it from Cannes or Sundance, or if you got in from Cannes or Sundance.
Right. Now, they can still slap that label on there, the award winning.
Exactly.
Which is what really matters. Yeah.
Exactly. So my advice is, don't try to go out and try to get distribution right away unless you know somebody who's at that place. And even then, I've had people come to me and be like, oh, well, I know this person at HBO. I'm like, well, that's fine, but they also still have to like the movie, Well,
and they still have to jump through the red tape of their own organization. And exactly. Unless the top acquisitions exec, there's still protocol.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically how I did it. We got 3 awards from these smaller film festivals. Then I kind of thought, okay, now I can send it out to distribution companies and, send it out to a company, I think in Berlin, that was Crisis, and they rejected it. And they gave me a reason why they rejected it. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then we sent out to Shorts International. I said I meant I. And
yeah, because there's a lot of people in the film.
There is. I like to say we just to kind of include everybody, but I was kind of doing the marketing on that one, truth be told. But so I didn't hear from them within 2 months, and I kind of thought, okay, well, that one kind of goes away. And right when I said that, I think right when I thought that, the very next day, I got an email from one of the execs over there to say, hey, I saw your film last night. I liked it a lot. I like to buy it, and here's what I'm offering. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. You know where I'm going when we hang up. I've never tried to actually distribute my shorts. I have a couple that I put up through Film Hub, but usually I do them because, I was building my experience and my credentials through,
Absolutely.
Through film festivals and things like that. And, also perfecting my craft. But that is such good advice and so amazing to know that people can go out there and sort of take this path, because it used to be there wasn't a lot of options for short films.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of incredible.
There's a bigger international market for them than there is one with domestic or within the United States. I think a lot of people from other countries really like them.
Gotcha.
Although the U.S. is kind of catching up with that. We like our television and feature films and our music video and commercials,
We do. On your short films, when you go to put a short film in distribution, are the deliverables pretty much the same as for features? Do you have a whole list you have to go through, like your subtitles and, all your little, oh God, I can't even remember, like the little zingers, 15 seconds, 45, or,
Yeah.
Do you still have to do all that, or is it different?
No, we still have to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping you'd say no because I'm lazy, but
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
well.
no, we still have to do it. I know with the contract we signed with all that stuff, they were for the deliverables, they were like, okay, what's the timing and the cut between this scene and this scene? I was like, okay, and Crisis is 22 minutes long as a film.
Okay, it is the same then. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that takes some work, as you know.
Yeah, it is. Yes, definitely. So that's such a great thing to share. I'm so glad you shared that. So I have loved having you here today. And if you're ready, though, we're going to do our 5 for 5. I'm going to ask you 5 questions that the audience can know you a little bit better as a person.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. We're going to get started. Number 1, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food. Wow, you come out swinging right there. That's a
I know they're vicious, and there's a test, maybe.
My favorite food, I would probably have to say pizza.
Oh God, yeah, pizza's such a good one.
It's so
or
good.
Italian food or something. Okay, number 2. This one's a little more, mature. No, I don't know. What is something that inspires you or motivates you?
You know what? Family motivates me all the time.
Oh, I love that.
My niece, my nephew, they play sports. They get up and they go at it. My nephew just committed to Texas A&M.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
He's for baseball. So watching him work, going to his games and watching him work and watching him really, I would say get after and work hard.
That really is inspiring.
It is. It's inspiring and it motivates you to really go for your dreams yourself. So I like to say
that. Okay, number 3. What is one thing that you have always dreamed of doing, but you have not done yet that's not film or entertainment industry related?
Okay, that's a good question. If you had asked me years ago, I would have said skydiving.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, amazing.
But I've done that now.
I would watch. Oh. Oh God. Okay. Well, that's cool. That one's off the bucket list. Maybe you want to do it again.
Yeah. I would. Somebody asked me one time. I did it about 10 years ago. Somebody asked me one time, "Would you do it again?" I said, "Sure. I would totally do it again." Oh, I got one for you.
Okay.
Base jumping. I wouldn't mind doing base jumping.
Is that like parkour or something? What is it?
You jump off like a cliff and you kind of fly a little bit. It's one of those things, those bodysuits that you have on.
Oh, that have like the wings to break your momentum or something.
Yeah.
The fabric. That looks very cool.
Yeah.
Not on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Because I just break my bone looking at you. But no, that would be really cool. Okay, well, you'll have to do that and then come back and tell me when you have. Okay.
Absolutely.
Number 4. This is a little more my speed. What is your favorite song to sing at the top of your lungs when you're driving in your car and no one's looking?
Oh, wow. I would probably say Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool song.
I love that song.
And I love it. Okay. I like it. That's awesome. Okay. Here, this one's really, really hard for filmmakers. What is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Can I give you several?
Oh, yeah. There's no rules.
I can name off my top 10 list.
Oh, God. Okay. Got 10 seconds. No.
There's a lot of Spielberg stuff. I like Jaws.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You know what? I would say my first favorite movie would probably be The Godfather.
Oh, I love that. That's a lot of people's favorite movies, and there's so many reasons for it. Great choice.
There is. I think it's, as far as like cinematography and the production and the acting and the writing and directing, I think it's near perfectly, in my opinion, near perfectly made film.
Oh,
I really do.
It's one that I absolutely love too. So I totally get it. I actually love that genre too. I don't know why.
The crime family drama.
The crime, yeah. I've written some of that. I really like it. Yeah.
But I also like Jaws. I like Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's up there for me.
Those are good.
I remember waiting in line when I was a kid for that with a friend and his parents when we went to see that in the summer of '93. What else? Raiders of the Lost Ark is always a good one. E.T. A lot of Spielberg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. National
I see a theme here. So
National Lampoon's Animal House, as far as comedy goes. I love that one.
That one's not a Spielberg.
yeah.
But it's
Trading Places is a good one.
Fun. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, my favorite horror movie of all time, and they just I guess they just rebooted and they're doing a sequel to it, kind of a reboot sequel. It comes out in October. The Exorcist.
Oh, they reboot that? Wow. The one that scared me when I was growing up, which will give away my age. Did you ever see The Omen?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I saw that and I started checking my head for the numbers. I was a little kid when it came out, and I don't know why I was allowed to see the movie, but I was freaked out forever. That one and The Exorcist, such good. Oh, they were just freaky for your mind. Now they're more commonplace, and I look at it as a filmmaker, but as a child, those were very impactful.
Oh, they were scary.
Yeah, they were. Holy cow, evil among us, and we don't even realize it, or within us. So
absolutely. Cool. And it's such a, I know, the Omen was terrifying and The Exorcist was terrifying, but both of those movies, I think The Exorcist came out in 73 and The Omen came out in 76, I believe.
Maybe, yeah, they were very close together.
Yeah. So of course, I didn't see The Exorcist until I was a little kid, and I saw it on VHS copy tape, and it freaked me out. But I remember seeing it a couple years later. As I got older, I would watch it again and again, and that's really like a very well-made movie for a horror movie.
It is. Well-made movie, and they pulled off every kind of effect, and most everything was practical then. And it's amazing, all of the things that they did. So great pick for a horror film. I have loved having you on today, Matthew. I hope you'll come back and talk to us again. If you have anything going on, just holler and we'll have you back.
Oh, absolutely. And I've had a great time talking to you too. I had so much fun.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk again soon.
Absolutely. You be safe. Thanks for having me.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Today's show is sponsored by Gym Kitty, helping women on their health and wellness journey by providing high-quality, organically sourced vitamins and supplements. Visit them today at www.gymkitty.net. You've been listening to Movie Making with Renelle Golden. Be sure to come back for our next episode, where we bring you the people who make movies you love. Got a topic about filmmaking you want to hear on our podcast? Send us an email at moviemakingpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast has been sponsored by Samara Entertainment.